to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, free speech advocates who warned of the predictable consequences of allowing powerful tech companies to police online discourse seized on YouTube's attempt Wednesday to purge hate speech from their video platform after creators performing public service journalism and education were swept up in the effort. Wednesday's purge came after days of sustained criticism over YouTube's handling of bigoted content produced by fringe alt-right commentator Steven Crowder that targeted Vox Media personality Carlos Maza. After nearly a week of online outrage, YouTube demonetized Crowder's channel and then launched a site-wide cleanup of what the company defined as hate speech and targeted harassment. But the purge also caught journalists and historians up in its wake, as the tech giant's heavy-handed response to Crowder's harassment did not allow for context in most of the content. The most prominent of those voices swept up in the purge is Ford Fischer, a video journalist who reports on extremism in U.S. politics on his YouTube page, News to Share. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. With the trade war between the U.S. and China seemingly escalating every single day, the U.S. has decided to provoke the not-so-sleeping dragon, and according to Reuters, is pursuing the sale of more than $2 billion worth of tanks and weapons to Taiwan, in a move sure to infuriate China further. Activist Post reports that while an official statement has not been made, an informal notification of the proposed sale has been sent to the U.S. Congress. The proposed sale includes 108 General Dynamics Corps M1A2 Abrams tanks worth $2 billion, as well as anti-tank and anti-aircraft munitions, as Taiwan has been interested in refreshing its existing U.S.-made battle tank inventory, which includes M60 Patton tanks. The congressional notifications also included a variety of anti-tank munitions, worth as much as $129 million. In addition, the notifications included 1,240 TOW anti-tank missiles, worth as much as $299 million, and 250 Stinger missiles, worth as much as $223 million. Saudi Arabia has significantly expanded its ballistic missile program through recent purchases from China. The anti-media, citing CNN, reports the purchases expanded both its missile infrastructure and technology. Key congressional Democrats discovered the weapons expansion program outside of regular U.S. government channels. The legislators told CNN they concluded the Trump administration had knowledge of the weapons deal and deliberately left Congress out of a series of meetings where they would have been briefed on the purchases. While Saudi Arabia is the U.S.'s top arms buyer, it's barred from purchasing ballistic missiles from Washington under a 1987 regulation that prevents the sale of rockets capable of carrying weapons of mass destruction. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Despite a long-held consensus pointing to the mid-20s as the final stage of brain maturation, a new study has found that the adolescent brain doesn't fully form until boys have avenged their father's murder.
New imaging studies suggest that the frontal cortex goes through extensive changes during the period of training when an adolescent boy prepares himself to track down and kill the man who took his father's life, but it's not until the boy stares deep into the murderer's eyes and then stabs him right in the heart that the two lobes fuse into a fully mature brain.
According to Dr. Laurie's findings, the myelin surrounding the teenage nerve synapses develops when boys stake out the home of their father's murderer, put themselves through grueling physical training, and fantasize again and again about how satisfying it will be when he finally makes the bastard who took everything from him beg for his life.
Now, if they let their father's killer slip through their grasp, or if they press the barrel of a gun to the back of his head and then realize they don't have what it takes to pull the trigger, then the amygdala is definitively stunted, and they'll have lifelong problems interpreting emotional information.
This is the Onion News Network.
Welcome to the Call to Freedom. It is Friday, finally, June the 7th of 2019. I'm your host, as always, except on Tuesdays, Arya DeMezzo, author of Beyond Words and Labels, currently slated for a mid-July release, so be sure to, that's about a month away, so be sure to check back for that. Joined in the studio today by...
the nobody formerly known as Rich Paul.
And Michael Hampton from BitcoinHistory.com.
And Rich, you are just out of jail.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't like it there.
I imagine not. Valley Street does not have a good reputation. In fact, before we left, I posted on social media that I was headed to Manchester, incidentally, the last place I would ever want to be arrested. Now, I don't want to be arrested anywhere, but Valley Street, no thanks.
Yeah, although, I mean, it really, like, in terms of violence or anything like that, it wasn't bad. And I am told that things have improved there, but everybody was very cordial. I had a, cellmate and gave him some dating advice because, I'm a minister. It's what I do. You can't take me away from my job.
I guess that's a fair point. Still, the improvements that you're talking about was the jail administrator, I forget what the title is, saying that, well, people are no longer complaining about being dragged around by their hair and beaten, so things have improved.
Yeah, that's an improvement.
And I got to say that having been dragged around by my hair and beaten, not in jail and not in that particular jail, but it has happened. I didn't like it very much, and when it stopped happening, it was a big improvement. In my case, it involved becoming sufficiently powerful that it was much more difficult to drag me around and beat me.
Fair point.
It was an improvement.
So, you were arrested Tuesday morning while going for your name change hearing, where you're attempting to change your name to Nobody.
Yeah.
Right? Just Nobody?
To Nobody.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're not going to approve that.
I don't see why they would not. There's nothing in the law that says they shouldn't, but I'll burn that bridge when I come to it.
I would be shocked if they approved that. But
I'm shocked whenever the system works.
True.
It doesn't happen very often, which is good because I'm old. My heart couldn't take it.
And on the way to this hearing, while you were walking into the courthouse or just outside of the courthouse, there was a cop there or a constable or something.
Yeah.
Waiting on you.
Yeah, it was one of the bailiffs actually. Was as soon as I went through the line, he knew who I was. He pulled me aside, asked me for ID. I really should have demurred on the ID to give Ian a chance to figure out what was going on and get his. Because as soon as they asked me for ID, I knew what was going to happen. Because there had
it's
been
never good.
There had been a report of heavily armed gang members seeking me out in Manchester. They showed up at a mail drop that I used.
Right.
The mail drop that I had listed with the court. So I kind of expected that when I got there, they would say that, ain't nobody got time for that because you're going to jail.
So what's up with the name change hearing? Have you contacted the court about that? Has it been rescheduled or did they just deny it by...
It has not been rescheduled yet. I'm going to have to go in Monday morning. And I'm going to go in person Monday morning, and I'm going to ask them what I have to do to get back on the docket. Nothing materially has changed, and it's not like I don't have a good excuse for missing court. There were armed men between me and there.
Right.
So,
Based on the whole reason for the arrest, it was related to these ultimately fabricated charges of you being a felon in possession of a weapon because you were carrying around a gardening implement, and they didn't care for that.
Yeah, I had a machete in my trunk of my car. I intended to use it to murder a bush, but before I got a chance, not one of the presidents, an actual,
like a tree,
bush.
a plant.
And so they pulled me over for driving on suspended license and driving with a suspended registration. And the interesting thing there is that the letters informing me that my registration and license were suspended were actually dated 2 days after I was pulled over. But there was a really interesting pattern in the 4 months after I painted smiley faces on the doors of my police car that suddenly I kept getting pulled over on a regular basis for driving on suspended license within 48 hours of my license being suspended. Now, there's reasons for that,
Certainly.
And it's not...
Well, it also wasn't exactly subtle.
Well, it was
it's not like your car
subtle.
blends into the crowd.
I was definitely noticeable. And so I didn't necessarily make anything of that until they tried to put this trumped up charge on me.
Right.
Which at that point, it's clearly enemy action and not just, they happen to notice me. Because in New Hampshire, the law specifies 13 items that are considered weapons, including dirks, daggers, billies, batons, a number of other objects,
right.
Or of course a gun or a knife if it is used. If that weapon, if used as you intend to use it, is likely or can cause a fatal blow. And the problem is they're just assuming, he had a machete. He must have wanted to kill a person with it. Why else would somebody have a machete?
Well, I've got to assume that deaths by machete are extremely rare.
I would say so. Outside of Jamaica and certain parts of the greater New York City area where they are commonly used as weapons, you don't see a lot of machete killings. I know of one in New Hampshire that involved a machete, and that was a killing of a family by juggalos several years ago. It was a big deal in the news. But nonetheless, you can beat somebody to death with a hammer. That doesn't make a hammer a deadly weapon under the law. And what I'm fighting for here is the right to keep and bear tools. Okay? Because the thing that separates man from animals is man is the tool fashioning, tool using animal.
Well, not necessarily. There are videos of like chimpanzees making spears and things like that.
It's true that they will use things somewhat, and none of the lines drawn by nature are perfectly crisp and clear. But I don't think I would say that the use of tools is much more central to the identity of humans than it is to. Nobody's going to look at an ape who can't use tools and go, "That's not a real ape."
So you were arrested because they had a bench warrant out for your arrest because the charges, felon in possession of a deadly weapon, you were under the impression had been dropped for whatever reason.
Yeah, well, the way that played out was I got a public defender on this case.
She's hot, by the way.
She is hot.
Anyway.
Let's move on. But sorry, Robin, got to call him like I see him. But she basically, my first response was, well, when is the probable cause hearing? Because that's how felony trials used to start in New Hampshire. And she said, well, they no longer automatically start with a probable cause hearing in district court and move it to superior court upon finding of probable cause. Instead, they move it directly into superior court, but you can demand a probable cause hearing. So I said, well, demand one. And she demanded one. And the prosecutor dropped the charge, said we're going to null process, we're not going to prosecute it. So that, as far as she or I knew, was the end of it.
Now, does she not have paperwork affirming this?
I believe she does. That's something I'm going to have to ask her on the phone. I didn't talk much about strategy in jail because the cops are corrupt and they will listen in on your conversations.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You got to assume any conversation you had in jail is being monitored by the police, even if it's supposed to be a private one with your attorney.
Especially if it's with your attorney.
Yeah. Don't go anywhere. There's more of this discussion to come up because the story gets even wackier. This is the Call to Freedom.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISSparis.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
I done forgot your name, but we had 9/11, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, if they weren't here, could it have happened?
Could what have happened? If who wasn't here? How wasted are you? That's what I want to know.
No, sir. No, I'm not wasted.
Okay.
No, please just listen to me.
Okay.
If the people weren't here that drove the planes into the Twin Towers,
yeah, right? They flew them. They didn't drive them, but okay.
No, I'm not saying that. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Because now you
wow.
Yeah. I gotta think a minute.
That's all right. We got nothing but time.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. And as always, you're invited to give us a call. That number is 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160. Or you can use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm. Now, we've been talking about Rich, who returned from jail yesterday afternoon. The story actually gets more interesting. Well, depending on your perspective, I think it gets more interesting because I'm involved at one point. And to me, that's interesting.
Well, that's certainly interesting.
But so you were under the impression that the charges were dropped. And
yep.
when you went to do your when you went to have your name change hearing at the courthouse here in Keene, there was someone there who arrested you and took you to Manchester and Valley Street.
Right.
Where you had to stay for 2 days pending your bail hearing.
Yep.
Which I didn't expect them to actually approve, to be honest, because from their perspective, you had, failed to appear. They would have considered you a flight risk and all of that. But go ahead.
One of the things that the Manchester courts are famous for in their corruption, and they did this to Ademo Freeman, who was the founder of Cop Block, on one case. What they like to do is fail to send notifications of changes to court dates or send them to the wrong address, which they do. Which they did with me. They sent it to an address which I had listed with the court for another case. They knew I wasn't there anymore, and the letter was returned to sender saying that I had been indicted. What they did not do is notify my attorney, although they knew I was represented by counsel, and that's what they should have done. When did they start sending a letter to the defendant instead of the defendant's attorney when he comes through counsel? So this was a way to get me into jail, and again, a little bit of corruption so that even if they can't make the charge stick, they can still do me some damage. Now, what needs to come of this is a lawsuit, because that's dirty pool, and this is a beautiful case of it.
It's certainly ridiculous. And I mean, your attorney seemed to find the whole thing ridiculous as well.
Yes. Yeah. Of
course, the prosecutor spent a rather long amount of time reading off your criminal history.
All the way back to 1989 when I was arrested for shoplifting because I stole a sandwich. Seriously.
Hold on, because he referred to that as retail fraud.
Yeah, that's what they call the charge.
He said
Michigan.
You were arrested in 1989 for retail fraud.
Yeah,
which makes it sound so much worse than it is. You stole a sandwich.
Well, the story there was the cashier at that store was a friend of mine, and I was starving. She didn't have any money, and I didn't have any money, but she said, go ahead and get yourself a sandwich, and I think I might have gotten a couple of candy bars as well. And there just happened.
And again, this was 30 years ago.
This was 30 years ago. And there happened to be a cop walking by the window of the store as I was walking out and waving to her with sandwiches in my hand. And so it was just really bad luck. So anyway, they arrested me. They arrested her. So I cut a deal on that one. I said, I'll do 3 days if you will drop charges against her. And they dropped charges against her. And that was the end of that. But yeah, they went all the way back there. They definitely spent some time looking into my history to find that little gem, which didn't come up No, it may have come up in my other felony trial, but they were definitely going beyond and above and beyond to find that.
Oh yeah, he wanted to railroad you.
Oh, he does.
And he had a little picture of the machete. Took it up to the judge like, does this look like a gardening tool?
Well, of course it does. I mean, what do you use to chop down a bush? And interestingly, one of the witnesses...
That's even deadlier.
Well, it is, but I wonder, that's one of the things that I want to see the cop asked is, would you have arrested him for a chainsaw, a circular saw, a sledgehammer, one of the knives that he washes for a living? Because I was working as a dishwasher in a steakhouse at this point, so which people do regularly on probation and parole.
Right.
So if that is that handling a weapon, because I could kill you with a steak knife. I could kill you with my thumb if I put my mind to it.
Well, I know New Hampshire is really weird about this sort of thing. Like, we have a coworker at my other job who is a felon, and it's sort of a big deal if he has to bring us a knife or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like, oh, no, he can't do it or anything like that. But everyone calls attention to it.
Felon walking, got a kitchen tool.
and this dude's felony was an attempted suicide by a cop. So, I mean, it's not like he hurt anybody either.
Oh, wow.
Or is a threat to anyone else. But because of that, for the rest of his life, presumably, he's not allowed to have a weapon.
Wow.
That's insane.
It's absolutely ridiculous. You can vote in New Hampshire, but you can't have the means of defending yourself.
Or even the means of making a living.
Yeah, in a lot of cases, yeah. If you happen to be a gardener or whatever and you use a machete or something like that in your job.
Well, gardener, contractor, a construction engineer, a carpenter, any job where you work with your hands. And let's face it, Citibank isn't going to hire me as a computer programmer anymore, okay? Because I'm a felon.
So did you hear what happened
I'm going to be doing that kind of job. No, I didn't hear the whole story. How'd it go?
Okay, so Chris Wade and I went to Manchester for Rich's bail hearing. We ended up leaving.
Thanks for that, by the way.
Anytime. He was in a super hurry, so we couldn't hang around, even though evidently you got released like immediately, right?
Yeah, it took him about a half an hour to spit me out.
Yeah, I really wish we had waited for that because you ended up having to catch a ride home with someone else, and the whole thing was just delayed by several hours because of that, even though we literally came back to Keene from Manchester. But anyway, things happen, right? So he has a camera, and we're there representing Free Keene, which is an officially licensed by the state of New Hampshire media organization, which means we don't have to jump through all of the hoops that everyone else has to jump through when they try to record in a courthouse, because we're already registered with the state. And we told the people that we went up. Chris started setting up the camera, and immediately one of the people there came up and asked him if he had registered it downstairs. So he explained, no, we don't have to. We're registered with the state of New Hampshire. Here's the paperwork. No, I'm not handing it to you. Here's what it says. Here's the statute about it. So we're totally fine. This happened by every single person there representing the government. The bailiff did it. The sheriff did it. Another deputy, I guess he was, did it. The secretary there did it. And even the judge, right before your hearing started, even the judge stopped what she was doing to ask about the freaking camera.
Wow. It's really...
And this is all on video, right? I can't wait for Chris Wade to get it to us because it's all on video. One by one, they came up to us, or as in the case of the judge, they just spoke from where she was seated. They came up to us to ask us for the same freaking paperwork and the same name of the media organization that we had already given everybody in that room.
The next time we do an after show, I would love to watch that video together.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great video. I cannot wait. I just want to edit it, clip out everything except for them coming up and asking us about the camera because it's just so humorous. And I was trying so hard not to laugh.
If you're not doing anything wrong, government, you have nothing to hide.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Live video of our Keene, New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. And the Rational Review News Digest, located at rationalreview.com, is the Freedom of Miss Daily News Digest, aggregating stories from all over the internet that are of interest to libertarians and to liberty-minded people. They include podcasts, videos, news articles, and more, and they're now a source for people to receive the Call to Freedom's podcasts. So be sure to check them out at www.rationalreview.com to stay up to date on all the happenings in the wider world. Now, I glossed over it in the story a moment ago. Actually, I didn't gloss over it. I skipped over it. This whole thing started where we pissed them off, right? The whole reason that they were obsessing over the camera in the first place, probably. You know, it probably would have made them angry anyway.
Mm.
But we're sitting there. Chris is setting up his camera, just kind of messing with it. And here comes the bailiff. He's, please rise for the Honorable Judge, whatever her name was. And, of course, Chris, Melanie, and I remained seated. Chris began messing around with the camera so that he has an excuse. Melanie was messing around with her phone and looking down. I made eye contact with the bailiff as he once again looked directly at us, waiting on us to stand, and repeated, "Everyone please stand for the Honorable," whatever her name was.
If you're not familiar, this does not happen here.
Yes.
No, and so I just sat there making eye contact with him, like, what are you going to do about it? But the judge, in her defense, she came out, she saw us seated, and she smiled.
Nice.
She was not angry. She smiled at me. She smiled at Chris, and I think she smiled at Melanie. She probably understood what we were attempting to convey. The bailiff did not. We had challenged his entire worldview by staying on our asses, and he did not know how to handle it.
Yeah. Oh my.
He was so angry.
Yeah, and I love being able to do that in New Hampshire. If you look back at the old Free Keene videos, you'll find times when judges have ordered everybody who didn't stand up to be removed from the courtroom. And the problem is some of us are Quakers and other things. I'm pretty sure the Reformed Church of Satan doesn't allow standing for judges. And
it allows one to do whatever they want to do.
Well,
if one wants to stand for the judges, they can. If one wants to remain seated, they can.
Okay. But the... so there are cases
we need to get
where
into that
by
as well.
by their own laws that you are not required to stand for the judge, and apparently the judge knew that, and the bailiff did not. In Keene, the bailiffs know by now because we've fought that issue over and over and over again.
The problem is it has not been fought in Manchester. Because
not recently.
Yeah, it's
it
been a
has
long
been
time.
fought in Manchester, but we haven't been doing much. We haven't been doing the intentional civil disobedience getting arrested lately, so people are out of practice in Manchester.
Yeah, no one from Manchester other than Melanie showed up. And I don't even consider her from Manchester. She's from Keene. She just happens to live in Manchester, in my opinion.
There you go.
Well, I don't know that there was any, that the word was spread to Manchesterites even. I wouldn't. I know that there are people.
It would have been up to Melanie because I'm not in communication with them regularly.
She's not either.
Like Justin O'Donnell and others. Justin wouldn't have come.
No, Justin
he's
wouldn't
kind
have
of a
come.
jerk.
Yeah, Justin's more concerned about his own ego than he is about liberty and justice. So
fair point. But they did not like it, and this was not pleasant for me for a few reasons. Chris and I actually talked about this on the way to Manchester. I fully intended to stand for the judge. Because if there is anywhere that I do not want to be arrested, it is Manchester. I don't know what would happen to me in Valley Street, but I don't think it would be good.
Right.
So when presented with that situation...
if you end up in any jail in New Hampshire, the right thing to do for you is to PC, frankly. Protective custody.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Which, unfortunately, that means solitary confinement.
Yeah, and I don't
That's
think...
bad. I did 12 days in solitary, and it sucked.
Yeah, I don't think the Manchester... police or the Manchester jail would be particularly inclined to grant that request anyway, until something had actually happened that warranted it.
They will generally grant PC to anybody who requests it.
Well, either way, I don't want to be arrested in Manchester.
I don't want you to be arrested in Manchester either. I don't even want you to be arrested in Keene.
Well,
maybe in Broken Bow, Oklahoma, because that would be a hilarious town to get arrested in. But other than that, you shouldn't be getting arrested.
But Chris was like, well, I'm going to remain seated, and it's stronger if more of us remain seated. I was like, all right, I'm with you then. Let's do it.
Yeah, in the old days, there were times when when half the courtroom would be free staters and the other half would be full of regular people and earth people, if you will. And the half the courtroom doesn't stand up, and the other half is looking at us like, what do they know that we don't?
Well, luckily, there weren't that many people there at that exact moment. There was the three of us. There were two people. So, okay, yeah, literally half the courtroom, because there were 6 of us in total, me, Melanie, Chris, and 3 other people whom we didn't know. And the 3 of us remained seated, and the other 3 presumably stood. I don't know. I didn't look around. I just made eye contact with the bailiff, like, what?
That's what I generally do. I look the bailiff in the eye, and that way he doesn't have to repeat it too many times before he gives up.
You're going to arrest the trans chick here in New Hampshire for not standing for the judge? I mean... I don't want to go down that road, but if we have to go down that road, it will be a publicity nightmare for you.
Oh, yeah, we'll make it one.
Oh,
and you're going to throw me in the men's section of the jail, obviously, because this is Manchester and not Keene. So, yeah, let's play a game if we absolutely must. But luckily, that didn't happen. He just kind of got really irate. And
nothing more fun than an irate bailiff, because...
and he seemed to know... Luckily, he seemed to know that there was nothing he could actually do about it, but it worried me because I thought we had made them angry enough that they were just going to railroad you, because they did come up to us afterward asking us who we were there to see. I responded, I don't know, I'm just here with Chris. And Chris had been taken downstairs in order to fill out the paperwork about the camera. He didn't legally have to do it, but he wanted to shut them up, so he went down there to do it. So this, unfortunately, is not on video because they requested him to take the equipment with him. And this was when I started to get worried about what was actually about to happen.
Right, because
they
what
sent
they
the
could have
camera
done
out
is
of the
slip
room.
me in while the camera was gone and do me very quickly before anything got on tape.
While
is there a
arresting
good
Melanie and
recording?
myself.
Well, that too, yeah.
I expected all of that to go down. As soon as they got the camera out of the room, I was like, oh, we're about to get slapped in handcuffs. They're going to deny Rich's bail, and it's going to be a bad week.
Yeah,
for
we're going to
Keene.
be doing the Oswald maneuver. I'm a patsy. I am not resisting arrest.
Now, I don't know if the video is good or not. Chris has it on his camera. I assume he's extracted it by this point or copied it off the SD card or however his camera is designed. I don't know yet. He has not gotten it to me. I assume he's got it to Ian, and Ian is going to do his usual editing stuff and slap it on Free Keen's YouTube channel.
Nice.
So-
That'll be a good thing.
I'm assuming so. Of course, I do want a copy of it because I want to clip just those parts of them wigging out about the camera.
Yeah, I think that would be good. I'd like to do a Rich Paul courtroom compendium.
Yeah.
Also, there's a lot of good tape of me doing silly things in court. There was one time I was before Judge Burke, who's a now gone, used to be the district court and judge in Keene. Or district court judge in Keene, and one time he said to me, I was in shackles, of course, because they like their whips and chains, but he says, well, I'm gonna set your bail to $2,000. What do you think of that, Mr. Paul? And I said, if you're happy and you know it, rattle your chains. And I started rattling my my shackles together. That's a pretty good clip, and there's others.
None of what we did was that humorous because I wasn't on camera. And every time they did this, every time they asked about the camera, it was a struggle not to just burst into laughter about how hard they were obsessing over it.
Fear the camera. Don't let the people know what you're doing.
Yeah, they really seem to hate the light of the camera, knowing that they're going on video.
Sunlight is the best disinfectant.
Yeah. This is the Cloud of Freedom. Don't go anywhere. There's a little bit more to get into in this story, and we're going to when we get right back.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. And speaking of cops and general corruption, if you've ever wanted to have sex with prostitutes and then arrest them, or bust people for drugs and then sell the drugs on the side for a nice little bonus, or just, enjoy the power rush of being a cop without all the paperwork, then you should try the Thin Blue Line game, which you can find at thinbluelinegame.com. It's the only card game in the world that allows you to shoot someone over a broken taillight and then escape accountability with the magical phrase, "I feared for my life." Typical cop stuff. Get it now at thinbluelinegame.com. Assault and battery is not included, but you can use the coupon code CTF to have all shipping costs waived. So go get it. Again, that's thinbluelinegame.com. And the whole apparatus here is skewed. Of course, I've had my own issue with cops lately. They have not yet arrested me.
Good news.
They've been stalking you, though, haven't they?
They have been stalking me, yes.
Yeah, it's definitely stalking at this point.
And there are many, many witnesses to this. Not just Ian. Ian is the only libertarian witness to this, which I like. Most of the witnesses to this are just like coworkers and random people who have seen these people like literally stalking me.
Mm-hmm.
So far, totally unable to get me, but it's just a matter of time. But it's amusing the extent to which they will go in order to avoid the cameras and just the light in general, because this whole thing, what brought about the entire past week and a half of just absolute BS that I've been dealing with was when I was going home from work at like 2:00 in the morning, coming out on the main street and having the state trooper whip around there on Main Street in Keene. That's not easy to do. And everyone who witnessed it was like, oh, he's about to pull over Aria. Let's sit here and watch it. But he didn't. Because you know how cops are when they go to pull someone over, right? They whip around, they get right behind them, and it's just a few seconds later, they're flashing their blue lights and telling you to pull over. He didn't do that. He never got to the blue lights. He got behind me, and I saw him doing it. He just got closer and closer, and he got right on me. And I pulled into the parking lot of a gas station. And instead of pulling me over there, where there were cameras and lights and witnesses, he pulled in across the street into an empty parking lot, backed in, turned off all his lights, and sat there waiting on me to leave.
Well, that is really so. And what?
There are there are witnesses to this.
I absolutely believe you. I've seen a lot of the same sort of behavior.
Now, and I realized very quickly that, he was waiting on me to leave. There was no way I was getting home that night without him pulling me over.
Mm-hmm.
So I called Ian.
Abandon ship. Good plan.
Yep. I was like, hey, I need you to come pick me up because this is not happening.
Right.
So he did. The state trooper watched me get into Ian's car, and we drove around Main Street and Keene for a few minutes. The state trooper just repeatedly tried ducking us and hiding and taking up a new vantage point, trying to lure me back out to go get my car. Right?
Oh, wow. See, one thing that would have been hilarious would have been if you just pulled over and parked next to the state trooper.
Oh, my God, I wish we had done that.
Well, that kind of thing can get you killed. I mean, you have to be ready to do it. Now, do you have Cell 411 on your phone?
No.
Okay, I highly recommend it. I used it several times in Manchester. You bring up...
well, the reason I don't, I'm familiar with it. The only reason I don't is because I literally just got this phone not even 24 hours ago. So I'm still in the process of doing all the setup. I did the most important critical stuff first.
Let's make that a priority install, because what you want to do when you hit I'm getting pulled over on the Cell 411 app, you can send me some money if you want, Virgil. They
do sponsor LRN.
Sweet. And so when you get pulled over, you hit the I'm getting pulled over button. It sends out an announcement to your friends and the people in your cells. They don't have to be people you personally know, but as people who have signed up because they care about liberty. And you can also start live streaming the video. And the nice thing about live streaming is the cops know they can't they can't erase the video. They can't get rid of the evidence.
That is the critical thing.
It doesn't do you any good if they don't figure that out until after you're dead. So you have to tell them not just I'm video recording you, but I am live streaming, and you are not going to get away with whatever it is you're trying to do to me.
That was the issue. That was one of the main reasons that I didn't risk to drive home, because ever since my primary phone broke, I've just been carrying around the backup, which doesn't even have a SIM card. So live streaming the being pulled over, it was not going to be possible.
Well, I'm glad it's possible now. Yeah. Let's make sure that happens.
That was a key reason.
Because sooner or later, they're going to move on you.
I know they're
setting
going
you
to.
up.
Yeah, they are absolutely setting me up. We are taking steps to counter it, but it's not going to ultimately matter.
Yeah,
they're going to get me for something. I'm aware of that. Yeah. I've made peace with that. It's going to happen, and it's going to be hilarious. Not at that exact moment, but it will be hilarious once I get bailed out.
Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely hope so. I know how badly these things can go wrong. You can't forget about Sandra Bland.
No, there's a reason
about all of the activists that have died in custody, and that's what I thought was going to happen, frankly.
Well, there's a reason that the state trooper is not trying to pull me over there on Main Street. There's a reason they're trying to get me in the dark out there on Grove Street or Marlborough Street or something.
Well, I'll tell you what, if the cops come after you and you see them disable their camera, or you see them put their hood up so their dash camera can't see what's going on, I would call that valid reason to fear for your life and use deadly force in self-defense.
I can't endorse that statement, being as they are currently hunting me and likely to get me within the next few weeks. That's not a statement I'm willing to endorse at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I understand that.
But yeah,
that's why live stream is so important, because it's the only way they're ever going to know what really happened.
And there's no doubt if he attempted to pull me over on Grove Street or something like that, I would slow down, I would put on my hazards or whatever, and I would continue driving to the police station probably, where there would absolutely be cameras. I would prefer something private, like a gas station or something like that. Because the police station, our cameras malfunctioned. It was so weird.
Their cameras suffer from Murphy's Law. Sorry. Their cameras suffer from Murphy's Law. They always turn off when they're in the process of murdering a suspect or shaking down teenagers.
Amazing how that happens.
It really is.
So, ideally, I would be able to whip back around and return to a gas station or something like that and let it happen there. And of course, they're going to give you a hard time for not immediately pulling over and things like that. But you have the constitutional right, if you do not feel safe, to continue driving until you find somewhere that is well lit and recorded in order to stop for the police officer.
I had one of them give me a hard time about that. I said I feared for my life.
Yeah. They can't stop you from doing it. And as long as you don't speed up, as long as you make it clear that you do intend to pull over, I would recommend, immediately starting recording as soon as those lights come on, or live streaming as soon as the lights come on. But as long as you do that and you're not speeding up, you're clearly not trying to escape. They can't, add more charges to you. They can't hold it against you and use it against you.
Yeah.
They'll try.
Oh, they'll try.
And they'll be very angry and irate, and they might, if they were just going to give you a ticket, they might go ahead and arrest you depending on how pissed off they are.
Well, that's the thing. Although Manchester PD has not done that, I've had them say, if you don't give us permission to search your car, we will bring dogs out, we will impound your car, and we will tear it piece from piece, whether just disassemble the thing in search of loot.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, run it up the flagpole and see if the judge salutes. They let me go.
Yeah.
Because they
do
don't
not
have probable cause if they don't have evidence. That's not guesses. That's not suppositions. That's not, I know this guy is a drug user, or I know that house they came from, because you can show up at a crack house to pick up your keys. It happens.
Well, I don't know about that.
If that's where your keys are, that's what you go. People go to crack houses for reasons other than buying crack.
I don't know. I've never gone to a crack house.
Something I know of.
I can't attest one way or the other.
I've been to a couple in my day. I must confess, I'm a bad man.
But you absolutely do have the right to pull over in an environment that you feel is safe. Now, you can't drive for 10 miles or anything like that. They will start to roadblock you and stuff if you attempt that.
Oh, yeah. You have to look for the best lighted place. Imagine you were pulling over to buy something from somebody untrustworthy. You find a safe place to do it as best you can.
Yeah. Well, don't go anywhere. This is the Call to Freedom. There's more cop BS to talk about because, they're cops. That's what they do. They arrest people, they kidnap people, they assault people, they batter people, they murder people, all that good stuff. Don't go anywhere. This is the Call to Freedom.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,335. Silver at $14.88. And Bitcoin is trading around $7,725. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, free speech advocates who warned of the predictable consequences of allowing powerful tech companies to police online discourse seized on YouTube's attempt Wednesday to purge hate speech from their video platform after creators performing public service journalism and education were swept up in the effort. Wednesday's purge came after days of sustained criticism over YouTube's handling of bigoted content produced by fringe alt-right commentator Steven Crowder that targeted Vox Media personality Carlos Maza. After nearly a week of online outrage, YouTube demonetized Crowder's channel and then launched a site-wide cleanup of what the company defined as hate speech and targeted harassment. But the purge also caught journalists and historians up in its wake, as the tech giant's heavy-handed response to Crowder's harassment did not allow for context in most of the content. The most prominent of those voices swept up in the purge is Ford Fischer, a video journalist who reports on extremism in U.S. politics on his YouTube page, News to Share. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. With the trade war between the U.S. and China seemingly escalating every single day, the U.S. has decided to provoke the not-so-sleeping dragon, and according to Reuters, is pursuing the sale of more than $2 billion worth of tanks and weapons to Taiwan, in a move sure to infuriate China further. Activist Post reports that while an official statement has not been made, an informal notification of the proposed sale has been sent to the U.S. Congress. The proposed sale includes 108 General Dynamics Corps M1A2 Abrams tanks worth $2 billion, as well as anti-tank and anti-aircraft munitions, as Taiwan has been interested in refreshing its existing U.S.-made battle tank inventory, which includes M60 Patton tanks. The congressional notifications also included a variety of anti-tank munitions, worth as much as $129 million. In addition, the notifications included 1,240 TOW anti-tank missiles, worth as much as $299 million, and 250 Stinger missiles, worth as much as $223 million. Saudi Arabia has significantly expanded its ballistic missile program through recent purchases from China. The anti-media, citing CNN, reports the purchases expanded both its missile infrastructure and technology. Key congressional Democrats discovered the weapons expansion program outside of regular U.S. government channels. The legislators told CNN they concluded the Trump administration had knowledge of the weapons deal and deliberately left Congress out of a series of meetings where they would have been briefed on the purchases. While Saudi Arabia is the U.S.'s top arms buyer, it's barred from purchasing ballistic missiles from Washington under a 1987 regulation that prevents the sale of rockets capable of carrying weapons of mass destruction. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
America is at a crossroads on many issues, leading many to ask, is it time for the president to blow the silver horn left behind by the Founding Fathers in case the country ever needed them? Of course, the horn, which has been sitting in the Oval Office since 1817, has never been used by a commander-in-chief, but many Americans think now might be the time to summon our forefathers. Which Founding Fathers would come back?
All of them. Look, when you have a bug problem, you call the exterminator. When you have an America problem, you call the Founding Fathers. They know what to do.
We have to keep in mind the Founding Fathers left us with a warning. If you blow the horn with less than pure intentions, it will turn to tin and can never be used.
But a president has to take risks, have the courage to admit that his administration is not all-knowing, and blow that magic silver horn to summon someone who is.
Yes, but what if we become too reliant on them and they disappear after the next new moon, as was written?
This is the Onion News Network.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. As always, I'm your host, Arya DeMezzo of SoundCloud.com/Arya DeMezzo, where you can hear some of the music I've been creating. No Slideways. We're not. We do a show together. We get asked with shocking regularity whether or not we're together.
No, we are not.
It's so weird. I do not get it. Why can't a trans person and a cis dude exist in the same room doing a show together without people assuming that?
No, not. Neither one of us is interested in the other. Sorry.
Now, to be fair, they would also ask the same thing of Melanie or Angie or any of the other, the cis female co-hosts. Yeah. None of them actually do Call to Freedom, but they would ask the same ridiculous question. It's just absolutely absurd to think that two people can't be friends. Slideways, we're not specifically talking about you. This is just a question that happens with shocking regularity.
Yeah, you're not the first person to ask.
No, at least once a week we get it. So, as you hear, I'm joined in the studio today by
Michael Hampton from CryptoTip.org.
And I've actually just finished setting up Cell 411. It was pretty easy, pretty quick, pretty simple. I liked that. I wish it had a test mode so that I could test out what these specific buttons do without actually sending out, panic alerts to people.
That would be nice.
Yeah, because I would like to test out what's going to happen, what my phone is going to do in the event that I'm pulled over by hitting the I am pulled over button. But if I do that,
it's going to send out an actual and get people get people's attention.
And that's not good. I don't want to do that. I suppose I imagine if I put my phone in like airplane mode or something like that, then Cell 411 would just start popping up errors.
Right.
Instead of allowing me to actually test anything.
But you'd like to know how the app works.
I would very much like to know how the app works. Who is it? We know the guy who does this.
Yeah, Virgil, what's his name?
Do we have contact info for him? I'd love to offer that suggestion.
I've got him on Facebook.
Just a simple freaking test message would be wonderful. And what's going to happen when I hit live video while, streaming on 4G? Basically, is it going to reduce the quality in order to hit all of these streaming services? Is it just going to fail to stream altogether? So yeah, some testing features would be phenomenal. My life is more than likely on the line here with dealing with these police officers who clearly want to arrest me in the darkness. So I would like to be sure that when this happens, because it's going to happen, let there be no doubt about that. I will not be able to duck them forever. Nope. And it ultimately doesn't matter. Even though I've since I gave the car away to the Shire Free Church. Ian is probably one of like 4 people I would even trust with this. But yeah, I gave Ian my car.
And it's getting re-registered.
Yeah, but I only did that because I know he's not going to actually take it from me, right? It's still my car for all intents and purposes. It's just registered to
the church,
an LLC. Yeah. It's legally, it's Ian's. So that's interesting. Well, legally, it's the church's, and Ian is the CEO of the church. So some shenanigans. But it's all done to get permanent registration in Montana so that, although I'm not a fan of paying the state ultimately to drop bombs, paying them a flat one-time fee that is relatively cheap is significantly better than paying them every single year.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I was to register here in New Hampshire, it would cost me about the same, and then I would have to do it again next year. But by doing this route, I only have to do it once, and the registration is permanent. So, but it's not going to matter. The reason they're pulling me over is because my registration is expired. That's the reason they're trying to pull me over. Let me rephrase that. It's been expired since I got here.
That's the excuse.
Yeah. And I've attempted to fix this. I did everything I could to fix this. And I keep running into problems. The state is a bureaucratic nightmare. If you ever find yourself short of some important document, you will find out very quickly that you need this important document you need important document B to get an important document A. And to get important document A, you need important document B. That's essentially the position I've been in while trying to do this entire thing. My driver's license also expired. I can't do anything about that. I literally cannot do anything about that because my birth certificate is required. The original birth certificate, or a state certified copy of the original.
And you can't get it.
And I can't get it because I require a valid ID in order to do that.
Can't you order that online?
You can, but you have to send them a picture of your valid ID. Yeah, it's totally stupid. In order to get my ID, I have to have a birth certificate. In order to get my birth certificate, I have to have an ID. So my solution, ultimately, is to change my name legally. I'm not a fan of doing this, but I think it's probably the best route to go. And while I'm there in front of the judge, to explain to him this crap that's going on. And be like, look, man, my ID is expired. I'm dealing with the state of Mississippi here. They are never going to recognize me as Arya DeMezzo. Now that my name is changed, no amount of ID I send them is going to allow them to release that birth certificate. It's just not going to happen. So give me a waiver. That's all I ask. Just give me a waiver saying, hey, this person is not a scammer. She's not a terrorist. She's just trying to get her freaking driver's license. Give it to her.
Yeah.
I have everything else that a person would need. I have my old ID. It was expired by 2 days. By 2 freaking days when I went to the DMV in order to do this. And they wouldn't do it because my ID was expired. Now, if my ID had not been expired, they would have simply taken my $40 or whatever it is, and they would have given me a New Hampshire driver's license, and I would have been on my way. But those 2 days, which I could not do anything about those 2 days. I don't remember exactly what was going on in September and August of last year, but I remember August being the worst year of my life last year here in New Hampshire. It was rough. In September, I was largely still recovering from that. So I was not surprised that it was 2 days after the expiration of my driver's license that I finally had the money, the capability to get to the DMV and the time, because even then I was kind of busy. But it was expired by 2 days, and that was it.
What can you do?
You can order your birth certificate. So I contacted my family. I was like, look, you guys, I know you have my birth certificate because we had to do the same crap with the state of Mississippi. In order for me to get my original driver's license, I had to have my birth certificate then as well. So just send it to me, and I can get on with my life. Well, what they sent me was a photocopy that they made of the birth certificate. They will not send me the original. They profess to not have it. I know for a fact that's not true. I am really good at keeping up with important things like that. I know I put them somewhere, and that is where they stay for years at a time. I know exactly where my Social Security card is because it's been there for like 8 years now. And anytime I need it, I just go right to it and whip it out. Giggity. So my birth certificate, if I had it, would be in that same situation. I know where my divorce certificate is. Mm-hmm. My sister has it in her lockbox. I know where my birth certificate is. My grandmother has it in her lockbox. But she professes not to, which leaves the only option being to get it from the state of Mississippi. And I assume that the reason they don't want to give me my birth certificate is because they assume it's needed for a name change. That's my assumption, and they're resisting that.
Why is she jerking her chain around like that?
Because they're Mississippi religious fundamentalists.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. So that's the situation there. My registration, I also attempted to renew because I didn't have to have an ID or anything for that. I just needed to send my sister some money. But like, look, when you get the chance, go to the courthouse, pick up my new sticker and my paperwork and mail it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
easy enough.
Yeah, she never got the money, even though PayPal showed it as sent. So, I mean, what are you going to do?
Oh, yeah, she got the money.
Oh, yeah, she got the money. There's no doubt of that. PayPal has never lost anyone's money. They may have in their first starting days, but if PayPal regularly lost people's money, they wouldn't be a thing.
Right.
So, I mean, oh, yeah. So, I mean, what can I do about that except continue driving because I've got a life to live?
Right.
But even when all of this is taken care of and I put these Montana plates on my car, they are still going to pull me over.
Oh, sure.
And I know they will. And they're going to do that under the suspicion that I'm driving on an expired driver's license, which I will be. But they will have no reason looking at me to pull me over. This is the Call to Freedom. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk more about rights you do not have when dealing with police, or rights that police don't think you should have, or want to convince you that you don't have. This is the Call to Freedom.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
U.S. officials assure Hong Kong that their protest is just one of many issues the White House is staying silent on, and an old guy at a hostel is down to party. This is the Onion Week in Review. Stunned officials from the Marine Conservation Institute announced this week that the past half-century of climate change and habitat loss somehow hasn't managed to take down the parrotfish. Biologists stress that despite destructive chemical runoff, rising ocean temperatures, and overfishing, the persistent little shits were somehow plugging right along like nothing had even happened.
You look at the oil spills, greenhouse gases, and God knows what else we're throwing at them, and you think, yeah, those subtropical should have been wiped out decades ago. But nope, these sons of bitches are still around and doing better than ever.
In other news, a grasshopper is dismembered by a future Supreme Court justice. A man having a great time will soon have to apologize to everyone, and Rand Paul pretends to be asleep so his dad will carry him in from the car.
This is the Onion News Network.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. As always, you're invited to give us a call. That number is 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160. Or if you want clearer quality, you can always use the Discord server, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm. Now, police are jackasses. I think that's fair to say. They all cops are bastards.
That they are.
ACAB.
Yeah, they literally exist to uphold a system that is immoral, and this, by definition, makes them immoral. And they don't like following the rules. They really don't like having their authority challenged. I cannot wait for that freaking video of the courtroom yesterday, which, I mean, that's essentially what we were doing, was challenging their authority.
Yeah.
And they did not like that at all.
And let me say this. My last trial, I asked the audience to play it cool, okay, and to not protest and to not do that kind of thing, because frankly I was scared. And I'm not scared anymore. So I'll tell you what, anybody who wants to come out in my own to my trial and protest, you come out and do that. And if the defense later issues a request asking you not to, ignore it. I may agree to make that request, but you know what to do.
But they're saying now, coming to us from NBC News, give up your password or go to jail. Police are pushing the legal boundaries to get into cell phones. Now, hasn't this already gone before the Supreme Court?
Not yet. It's gone before lower courts, but all over the country, they're making different decisions.
I thought the Supreme Court had ruled that police could not force you to unlock your phone.
They ruled you couldn't, what was it? There was a ruling, but it was not about passcodes. I think it was like about fingerprints, maybe?
Well, it seems to me the exact mechanism
of this is illusory, because if the government wants what is on your phone, Google will give it to them through the back door.
Not
if they really want it. Huh?
Not if you encrypt it.
Do you believe that Google hasn't written backdoors into that? If
they
not, why not?
They may have into stock Android. This is also why you don't run stock Android.
Okay.
It's why you run something like CyanogenMod or now Lineage or SlimROMs or something that is open source.
What you're telling me is that you've thought past what our audience has. So
I did
you're
this
right.
for a living.
You're special. You're a special snowflake. And I don't mean that in a Republican sense. But
hey, I'm running Lineage OS, so
yeah, we're all special snowflakes. That's why they put us on the radio, bro.
Fair point.
I think we put ourselves on the radio.
That's true as well.
Well, that too.
Well, actually, no,
she put me on the radio. This is all her fault.
Will put me on the radio.
Today.
No. Will put me on the radio. This is Will's fault.
Well, and he roped me into this.
Ian put Will and me on the radio first, so this all comes back to Ian. And he paid for the equipment. So let's not make the socialist error of thinking that it's all
Will, we need you to call
labor.
in and point at Ian and say, well, he roped me into this.
Yes. Oh, God. We can do ourselves as Mises. I'm Mr. Radio Host. Look at me.
So anyway, William Montanez is used to getting stopped by the police in Tampa, Florida for small-time traffic and marijuana violations. It's happened more than a dozen times. Well,
in the words of my people, may the fleas of 1,000 camels find their tents.
Yeah, get out of Tampa would be my advice.
Get out of
Florida. That's a good plan. I did that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting pulled over or harassed by police more than 12 times, it's time to leave. They're looking for you. They know you. They recognize you. They know your vehicle, and they're gonna harass you every opportunity they get.
And the cops in Florida are also Florida man.
Yeah, and I say this as a person who is like actively getting stalked by police, and I'm not leaving Keene, but I'm not the ordinary person either.
Well, the thing is,
I welcome them to do something stupid to me.
Relative safety in Keene is pretty high. The KPD...
It's not KPD I'm dealing with, though.
Well, that's the thing. You're dealing with state police. But the thing is, my estimation of KPD is unless they really liked the cop that was stalking you, if he killed you, they'd probably investigate.
Yeah, Keene PD, as far as police go, they are... I don't have it in me to say they are good guys.
Better than average?
I came so close to saying that. But as far as cops go, they are the best that we could hope for.
Yes.
There we go.
They're college town cops is what they are. And I grew up in a college town.
They do want to get the kids. They want to get the 18 to 21-year-olds for smoking tobacco and drinking and all that.
But the thing is, if you start whacking the students, the parents are going to get irate, and the parents have money.
Yeah, but see, they're not.
No, you
they're
can
not
arrest
whacking
them, but you can't be killing them. And so KPD is specifically selected to be the cops who won't kill you.
Yeah.
Because the college parents don't want their students killed.
And they're generally good at not killing people. But the issue with that is that college students and the people of Keene in general just become sources of revenue for the state.
Yeah.
That's ultimately what the increase to the parking fees was about.
Yeah, and that's the payoff for not killing their kids.
Right.
This is implicit.
Yeah. So instead of increasing property taxes or imposing a sales tax or whatever that most cities do in order to pay for these grand schemes they have that ultimately fizzle out.
Although
they
here
just
we
pass
don't have
laws.
sales tax. We have...
no, we just have an obscenely high property tax.
We have an obscenely high property tax.
And stupid fines like you can't smoke if you're under 21 in order to increase revenue from fines. It's just a hidden tax.
Yeah, pay us or we won't kill you.
Well, the other hidden tax is the land monopoly. And there I've got to come down firmly on the side of the Georgists of all people. And I'm watching my crew members getting visibly uncomfortable as I say this, visibly, and I'm teasing it for more than it's worth.
I just wanted to get back into the actual article about police.
Okay, yeah. Do that.
So when they pulled him over last June, he didn't try to hide his pot and instead told officers, "Yeah, I smoke it. There's a joint in the center console. Are you going to arrest me for that?" Well, they did arrest him, not only for the marijuana, but also for 2 small bottles that they believed contained THC oil, a felony, and for having a firearm while committing that felony. Did you ever hear the news story about the cops who found cotton candy in somebody's trunk that had melted?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I heard about that one.
Yeah, and they thought it was meth, and dude ended up spending like 5 months in jail because of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did he get a settlement?
I don't know. I hope so.
They got sued over
I
that
hope
one.
so, too.
It's probably too soon. I seem to recall it only happened in like September or something like that.
And the amazing thing is, see, I've been watching for stories like this out of New Hampshire. And
yeah, because New Hampshire's got a pretty bad meth problem. And heroin problem.
Yeah, it does. But I will say that in terms of police brutality stories, I mean, I've been ready to launch a protest against one of these killings in New Hampshire, and they're actually it's very rare that you have a very obvious police brutality killing here.
No doubt. Well, as police confiscated the guy's 2 iPhones, a text message popped up on the lock screen of one of them. "Oh my God, fix your privacy settings," saying, "Oh my God, did they find it?" That's not the kind of text message you want to receive, so turn
that off.
Don't go anywhere.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. Freedom freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. And before we get back into the story about the police being, police, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to David Jeffries and Leah Hoffman, 2 supporters on Patreon who sponsor the show and help us stay up and running. You can find that at patreon.com/call to freedom. So Leah and David, thanks very much for all that you do for the show.
Thank you.
It does not go unappreciated. So evidently, this guy received a text message. In fact, I just verified that, mine were off. I had it to hide sensitive. Look, the phone is less than 24 hours ago. Setup of a new mobile device is an ongoing thing. You don't remember to do everything at once. I did have it set to hide sensitive information, so the content of the text message wouldn't have popped up in the first place. But I wouldn't want the cops to even know that I had received a text message.
Yeah, I have mine set to no notifications at all.
Yeah, that's what I just changed mine to. So I imagine it was a default to do no sensitive information.
Yeah, the default is whatever it is.
I noticed yesterday after a software update that I was not able to get out of because I haven't actually, full disclosure, I haven't had the opportunity to install Lineage onto this phone. I probably won't get the opportunity to until Tuesday. But so that's unfortunate.
Let's do an install party because I want to do mine too.
Okay.
I've got 2 spare cell phones, so
I can't promise not to brick it.
That's why I've got 2 that are bricked already that we can bring back. So if so, we can each keep the proceeds from selling one or something.
Well, I'm pretty good. I have bricked one phone in the long history of rooting devices and changing the operating system. It was not my fault. It was Verizon's fault. They did not care for what I was doing, and they had already anticipated it, and they broke the phone when I attempted to do it. It was very unfortunate. Yeah. It wasn't my phone, though, so it wasn't my problem to deal with. And I made the person aware, that no matter how experienced you are changing the software of a device that is not designed to have its software changed.
Now, when you say it's bricked, what exactly does that mean? Could you install Lineage OS, for example, on a bricked phone?
It depends on the type of brick.
Okay.
This one, no.
Okay. Because it seems like in the ones that I call them bricked. They're not really bricked. I bought them, and I bought them with cash, and I bought them through a proxy, and I put fake information on them because I wanted to use them as phones that weren't easily traceable to me. And unfortunately, I was unable to verify some of that false information because it wasn't true. So the phones don't work anymore.
That's generally how it goes. Well, the officers demanded his passcodes, warning him that they would get warrants to search the cell phones. Okay, then go and get warrants and, hire the NSA to decrypt this thing.
Yeah. Good luck.
Montanez suspected that police were trying to fish for evidence of illegal activity. He also didn't want them seeing more personal things, including intimate pictures of his girlfriend. Why do you carry these around on your phone on a day-to-day basis?
I don't know, but lots of people do for some reason.
So he refused and was locked up on the drug and firearm charges. 5 days later, he was bailed out of jail, and a deputy from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, Hillsborough. We're talking about Florida, right? Okay, so there's a Hillsborough County, Florida as well. The only reason that caught my attention is because Hillsborough was literally the county we were in yesterday for Rich's bail hearing. So I was wondering how close to home this was actually hitting, but it's Florida.
Yeah. There's a lot of Hillsborough counties. It's like, Springfield.
Wow. So the sheriff's office tracked him down after his bail, handed him the warrants, and demanded the phone passcodes. Again, Montanez refused. Prosecutors went to a judge, and the judge ordered him locked up again for contempt of court. No. You have the Fifth Amendment right to not give these people information.
I know.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
And you are not in contempt of court for pleading the Fifth. That's ultimately what this is. This is terrifying.
Yeah, well, and certainly that's my interpretation. The problem is nine guys who were not even elected get to make that decision and make it binding on all of us because there's no longer, we've basically made the Supreme Court God. And if you read the Constitution, the Supreme Court was not cast as the dominant power of government, and that's what it's become.
Yep. Well, the whole issue with the Supreme Court is that it is part of the state, and for whatever bizarre reason, the founders, the people who wrote the Constitution, I don't believe they genuinely thought this. I believe the whole thing was just a scheme but the Supreme Court was supposed to check the power of the state by determining what is and isn't constitutional. But ultimately, all that is giving the state the power to determine what is and isn't constitutional.
Exactly.
It's fundamentally flawed.
If this was supposed to be a check and balance, it failed.
Yeah, well, it failed because we don't have people out in the streets with torches and pitchforks when the government screws up. You know, and that's the only real check and balance. You know, there's a lot of police who rob, rape, and murder outside the call of duty, knowing that they may well face a lot of threat. And you have to, it has to be stopped.
So this guy, he still refused to comply in accordance with his Fifth Amendment right to not give the police evidence. He paid a steep price, spending 44 days behind bars before the THC and gun charges were dropped. The contempt order got tossed, and he pled guilty to a misdemeanor pot charge. He got a plea deal. That's what I'm hearing.
He got a plea deal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yet he regrets nothing because he now sees his defiance as taking a stand against the abuse of his rights. Which is technically true, but you still
took the plea deal.
Yeah, you took the plea. You don't want to take the plea.
Well,
no, make him work for it.
He showed a lot more stones than most people do in that situation, so I give him a lot of cred.
Well, he clearly had some proof of illegal activity on his phone, I would think.
Maybe.
Do I want to say that?
Maybe not. Maybe
I don't think I want to say that.
Maybe he loved his girlfriend. You know? Maybe he didn't want to give the guy satisfaction.
Good points. All good points.
Like,
certainly, it's not fair
to... Michael, how would you like having another guy make you show him naked pictures of your girlfriend?
Yeah, I would not do that.
Yeah.
I just would not.
I would be more likely to punch him in the face than to show him the pictures.
The world should know that what they're doing out there is crazy, Montana said. The police never got into his phones. Good. While few would choose jail, Montana's decision reflects a growing resistance to law enforcement's power to peer into Americans' digital lives. The main portals into that activity are cell phones, which are protected from prying eyes by encryption, with passcodes the only way in. A lot of that is not quite true. Most people's phones are not going to be encrypted, first of all.
Yeah.
And even more of them don't require any passcode. A lot of them you can wake up and gain full access to by saying, "Okay, Google," which will work on my phone, but since it's fully updated, it's not going to actually reveal anything important. Yeah. I did that on purpose, though. So, because when I'm pulled over, I do want to be able to say, "Okay, Google, open cell 411."
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's the reason that I did that.
See, what I really need is a throwdown phone that has just cell 411 that I can take with me when I'm walking, because a lot of the times I don't even carry a phone anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you probably should.
Well, the thing is, I don't like carrying the government in my back pocket.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah. But privacy advocates see a dangerous erosion of Americans' rights here, with courts scrambling to keep up. They say, well, they're not scrambling to keep up. They're scrambling to, license the violation of people's rights. This is the Call to Freedom. Don't go anywhere. There's more to talk about in regard to the stupid crap cops are doing.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com, advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom. And if you've been listening to the show for a while, you probably know that The Call to Freedom is available as a podcast. And that's good news for everyone who doesn't like the commercials, because the podcasts do not contain them. And the podcasts this week, I honestly think there have only been 2 of them. Sorry about that. You can find them at calltofreedomlive.podbean.com or on Spotify or Google Play Music or the iTunes Store or Radio Public. It's in quite a lot of places, an ever-growing number of places. It comes ad-free, but the caveat is that it obviously isn't live. So, once more, that's calltofreedomlive.podbean.com, and they typically don't get uploaded until the following show day. The one exception is Monday nights. Since I'm already here doing Free Talk Live during the commercials, I go ahead and take care of it now so that I don't have to come over here Tuesday at all. Which is great, because previously I was having to come over here on Tuesday afternoons in order to do that. I'm still good. Actually, yeah. Because of reasons I'm not ready to talk about on the air yet, I will have to come over here probably at 1 p.m. Tuesday anyway, until about 3. But I'm still going to do it Monday night. But the reason there weren't many podcasts this week is because I screwed up the archives Monday by forgetting to close Adobe Audition, which kept the session file open and kept the actual recording software from being able to overwrite it.
Oops.
Yeah. Well, for the first hour. But I wasn't going to bother clipping just the last hour and 15 minutes, and I wasn't going to bother with any of that.
Too much work.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
No, I certainly don't. And Tuesday, I wasn't here, so Well, the podcast would have been done Monday night anyway. Then Wednesday, we did put a podcast up of Tuesday's episode. Yesterday, we weren't here. Again, no podcast because I was in Manchester instead. Actually, I was here just in time that I could have started the show.
You were in no shape to do a show yesterday.
Why? What was wrong with me yesterday?
Or was it yesterday? There was one day here where you just showed up, like, crashed on the couch. You were in no shape to do anything.
Well, that was today.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was also last Thursday that happened.
Okay, so...
And we didn't do a show that day. I think I did upload the podcast that day. But so, yeah.
So is this like an 8-day cycle?
What, that crashing?
Yeah, or should we expect to find you next Wednesday? Or what day should we expect to find you passed out on the couch next week? I like to plan around these things.
I don't know. I would guess that it's next Friday is probably a better... No, because next week I won't even be here next Friday.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, good Lord. We can pass out at Forkfest.
Yeah, we probably, if there is internet access. I can't believe I've been freaking... We have 2 shows left before I leave for 3 technically, because I'm not leaving until Thursday morning. We have 3 shows left after today to talk about this, and I barely mentioned it. I will be at Forkfest.
Yeah.
Coming Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and coming home Monday. To be fair, Call to Freedom, we do broadcast on Saturdays and Sundays. So if I'm able to do a live show, there's really no reason not to. It's not a significant amount of work for Ian. In fact, I now know how to do it, but I wouldn't at this point because I would be more likely to screw something up. But it's not that hard to just cancel the refeed or the encore or the show archive and just do a live show. If we happen to have the internet access, I will be broadcasting live from Forkfest. I'm going to need you to co-host every single one of these with me.
You got it.
And it's going to be great because I am not going to be in a sober state of mind at any point throughout Forkfest.
Now that sounds fun.
Like from the moment I arrive until the moment I leave. And I think I'm going to alternate them, right? You can't do shrooms 3 days in a row and still have an effect on the 3rd day. But can you do shrooms the 1st day, LSD the 2nd day, ecstasy the 3rd day?
Oh, yes.
And then go back to shrooms the 4th day.
Yeah.
Because
that's
essentially
called a hippie short week.
Cool. Because that's essentially my plan for Forkfest. Not that I'll have any illegal drugs or anything like that. Absolutely not.
I'm on bail.
Yeah. There will be absolutely no illegal drugs in my possession at any point in Forkfest. I'm just, making stuff up for radio.
Yeah.
And we're going to broadcast live if we have the internet access in order to do it.
Good luck.
That's at Rogers Campground up at Lebanon?
Lancaster, New Hampshire.
It's Lancaster?
Yep.
New Hampshire? Yeah, it's about 2 hours north of here, 2-ish.
Mm-hmm. From here, it's about 2.5, close to 3 hour drive, actually.
Is it that long? I don't remember it being that long.
That's
it depends on which way you go. It's if you go down 93, it's about 3 hour drive. If you come down 89 or 91, you might
I will go the route that is least likely to have cops.
I tell you what, if you'll
just
probably
route
be okay,
yourself through heaven.
You'll probably be okay, but there's a thing that goes up on 93 in the North Country. On the weekends, the cops like to go out there and run speed traps.
I will be leaving at Thursday morning in order to arrive there about noon. So I'll be driving through there at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, weekdays, probably not an issue, but also you got to watch out for the Border Patrol.
Yeah, no, I don't have to watch out. I have to watch out for them so that I can go through their checkpoint. That's the only reason I have to watch out for them.
We had a great time at their checkpoint a year ago.
Yeah. But that's Porkfest. They didn't checkpoint Forkfest. Forkfest is not on their radar at this point.
Not yet.
Well, I don't think Porkfest was on the Border Patrol's radar. We had to drive out of our way to find them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We drove about an hour to get to the checkpoint. We just heard that it was there while we were there, so it's just as likely to have one during Forkfest as Porkfest, or we may not have one at all. But if we do have one, we will be down there giving them... what happened last time is we went through the checkpoint and Ian refused to state his nationality. So they told us to pull over. And he said, okay, great. And the whole car is bristling with cameras. It all comes back to the camera.
Yeah,
the whole car is bristling with cameras. And a supervisor comes running up. We have this on video. Comes running up and he goes, no, they've got cameras. Let them go. And Ian was like, well, we don't want to go. We want to stay and film. And he was like, no, get them out of here.
So it would have been.
Why does the government fear to see have his action seen?
If Ian took part in this, I didn't remember Ian taking part in this, then it would have been Fork Fest and not Pork Fest. Because Ian doesn't go to Pork Fest. Or maybe
it was more than 1 year ago. I may have just...
No, because I was there for this.
Okay.
I didn't make it through the checkpoint because I arrived late that night. Or
That's right. It was Fork Fest.
It would have had to have been.
Yeah. Huh, go figure.
Interesting.
We'll look that up.
Wow.
So if we find a Border Patrol checkpoint along the way, we will go troll them.
If you want to join us, go to forkfest.party and get all the details there.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's going to be a great time. A lot of liberty-loving people there. Nobody is in charge, but there will be stuff going on. Last year, there was a chess tournament. I'm looking forward to doing that again. I didn't host a chess tournament. I just played in it. I was really rusty then. Rustier then than I am now. Still pretty rusty, but I've been playing with some of our listeners that you can find at discord.lri.fm, and I'm slowly knocking the rust off. I'm finding that lately I'm picking up a lot of things that I used to do that I lost interest in at some point along the way. Like last night we watched the Bruins game, and I forgot that, I spent a lot of my youth playing street hockey. Of course, this was Mississippi, so there was nowhere to play actual hockey.
Right.
All right.
But I did love hockey. It was my favorite sport. And of course, I shortly ago repurchased a skateboard. I hadn't skateboarded since I was a teenager, which has been interesting. It doesn't come back to you as quickly as riding a bicycle does. It does come back to you. But the biggest problem is not that, I just don't remember how to do it or anything like that. The biggest problem is that I'm almost 2 feet taller now than I was then.
Yep.
Are you done growing? I mean, is this it for you? Or are you going to be like 8 feet tall in another 2 years?
I think I'm done growing.
Okay, cool.
I think. I don't know. I
thank you.
I stopped skateboarding a very, very long time ago. I mean, maybe like the 7th or 8th grade. So, I mean, I've went through the last parts of puberty and all of that, and adolescence and adulthood, all without ever getting on a skateboard. So doing it now, I'm just in a, trans jokes aside, I'm in a completely different body now than I was then.
Well, it's true. Every cell in your body gets replaced every 7 years.
Yeah. And, I'm a lot taller. My feet are a lot longer. I don't remember so much of my foot hanging off of the skateboard, Just little things like that you don't appreciate because you were, this tall back then, and now you're much taller. But it's fun. And I'm looking forward to being at Fork Fest. It's going to be a great experience. And God knows I need the vacation. This is the Call to Freedom. Don't go anywhere. There's more cop shenanigans coming up.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,335. Silver at $14.88, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,725. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, free speech advocates who warned of the predictable consequences of allowing powerful tech companies to police online discourse seized on YouTube's attempt Wednesday to purge hate speech from their video platform after creators performing public service journalism and education were swept up in the effort. Wednesday's purge came after days of sustained criticism over YouTube's handling of bigoted content produced by fringe alt-right commentator Steven Crowder that targeted Vox Media personality Carlos Maza. After nearly a week of online outrage, YouTube demonetized Crowder's channel and then launched a site-wide cleanup of what the company defined as hate speech and targeted harassment. But the purge also caught journalists and historians up in its wake, as the tech giant's heavy-handed response to Crowder's harassment did not allow for context in most of the content. The most prominent of those voices swept up in the purge is Ford Fischer, a video journalist who reports on extremism in U.S. politics on his YouTube page, News to Share. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. With the trade war between the U.S. and China seemingly escalating every single day, the U.S. has decided to provoke the not-so-sleeping dragon, and according to Reuters, is pursuing the sale of more than $2 billion worth of tanks and weapons to Taiwan, in a move sure to infuriate China further. Activist Post reports that while an official statement has not been made, an informal notification of the proposed sale has been sent to the U.S. Congress. The proposed sale includes 108 General Dynamics Corps M1A2 Abrams tanks worth $2 billion, as well as anti-tank and anti-aircraft munitions, as Taiwan has been interested in refreshing its existing U.S.-made battle tank inventory, which includes M60 Patton tanks. The congressional notifications also included a variety of anti-tank munitions, worth as much as $129 million. In addition, the notifications included 1,240 TOW anti-tank missiles worth as much as $299 million, and 250 Stinger missiles worth as much as $223 million. Saudi Arabia has significantly expanded its ballistic missile program through recent purchases from China. The anti-media, citing CNN, reports the purchases expanded both its missile infrastructure and technology. Key congressional Democrats discovered the weapons expansion program outside of regular U.S. government channels. The legislators told CNN they concluded the Trump administration had knowledge of the weapons deal and deliberately left Congress out of a series of meetings where they would have been briefed on the purchases. While Saudi Arabia is the U.S.'s top arms buyer, it's barred from purchasing ballistic missiles from Washington under a 1987 regulation that prevents the sale of rockets capable of carrying weapons of mass destruction. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
The Surgeon General warns teens the Cinnamon Challenge is not for pussies. Taylor Swift is now dating the Watertown boat, and a middle-aged funeral director buys a flashy red hearse. We pity your pathetic dependence on this for your weekly news, but here we go anyway. This is the Onion Week in Review. A study released this week by the National Institutes of Health confirmed that for the 25th straight year, wolf attacks remain the leading cause of death in the United States. The Human Health Agency's findings confirmed that being viciously killed by a ravenous wolf claimed the lives of over 800,000 Americans last year alone, with researchers adding that one person in the United States dies every 40 seconds from a violent wolf attack.
The mortality rate associated with wolf attacks vastly outstrips the death tolls of cancer, stroke, and chronic respiratory disease. People should know that anyone... Oh, Jesus, no.
This is the Onion News Network.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. As always, I'm your host, Arya DeMezzo of, I don't know, some kind of crap. I don't care right now. It's Friday, so you know what that means. It means my brain is more or less just checked out for the next 2 days. 3 days.
Thank dog
really.
It's Friday.
Yeah. Thank God. Long story in regard to that. One of our coworkers was telling a story the other night about some GIF he saw.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone else noticed, but I stopped what I was doing. I turned around and, oh, what? Did you mean GIF? So for like the next 3 hours after that, it was just, oh my God, I need help. And just anytime we had a G, we switched it for a J. And anytime we had a J, we switched it for a G. And it just went on for hours. It's still ongoing. There's a guy we work with named EJ who is now
Fight
known...
for 15, everybody.
He's now known as E-Gay. Well, my friends on Facebook actually know we do not deserve 15 an hour. We spend way too much time screwing around. Hilarious stuff, though. And as you hear, I'm joined by...
the nobody formerly known as Rich Paul.
And Michael Hampton from BitcoinHistory.com.
And we've been talking about police and the ridiculous tactics they use in order to, attempt to browbeat people or literally beat people into submission.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, me too. Rihanna, that's a name, Pfefferkorn, said that it's becoming harder to escape the reach of police using technology that didn't exist before. And now we are in the position of trying to walk that back and stem the tide. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter whether or not the technology existed before. You still have the right to say no to unreasonable searches. And you still have the right to refuse to deny information to the police, even if they ask for it, and even if they have a warrant. You can't stop them from attempting to get that information if they have a warrant. The guy should have turned his phone over to them and said, here you go. You have a warrant for my phone? Have at it.
Yeah, enjoy.
Yep, it's encrypted and locked, so good luck with that. But
breaking it in half isn't a bad idea in a pinch.
That's true as well. If you don't have like cryptocurrency locked to that one phone. That's the one thing that sucks about my backup phone now dying, is that I did have cryptocurrency on it. not much, because luckily, by sheer coincidence, I had just moved to the Edge wallet. So my good stuff, my Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Litecoin, and all of that, it transferred just fine. But like my library credits, my Ravencoin, and all that kind of crap, not my Ravencoin, Coinami doesn't support that. It's on my PC wallet. But there are a number of coins that I was holding that were only on Coinami, like 17,000 of this coin and 29,000 of that coin, because they're, a thousandth of a penny each.
Right.
So just throw $3 into it and get 50,000 of the coins. And
if it goes to $1, you're in like Flynn.
Yeah. Easy game to play.
Yeah.
Of course, you're not likely to win in those kinds of games, but hey, why not?
Well, I don't know if you. Let's project back. If you'd bought $3 worth of every cryptocurrency in existence when you first heard of it, how much money would you have?
Oh, good, fair point. You would have a lot more than $3.
I'd have
Maybe you should set aside a wallet, and that'll be just your $3 wallet. That's all you do is buy $3 worth of a coin, throw it in a wallet, and look back at it in 10 years, see what happened.
I don't even know if I would want to do that. Maybe $1 per coin, because if you're,
it might as well be $1.
Yeah, because I think Coinami supports like 200 coins. I'm not really interested in throwing $600 at crap coins in Coinami. However, $1 each.
Yeah.
Now we might be talking.
And it might be that it's too late once they've hit Coinomi. Maybe you want to catch the coins before they hit Coinomi.
That was my plan with Ravencoin. Luckily, I have not purchased a single Ravencoin. I mined all of it.
Oh, okay.
So that's good. If it shoots up, I think it's right now at about 6.5 cents each, which isn't great. But it did cost me because of the electricity involved. But the cost of electricity in New Hampshire is not. It was greatly exaggerated to me when people talk to me about it. It's really not that bad. A gaming PC that's doing some mining for a few hours a day, it's not going to cost you hundreds of dollars each month.
It's cheaper than people think it is.
Yeah, it's probably not great, but due to the shenanigans of everything that's been going on, my electric bills had been being sent for some ungodly reason to the state of Mississippi. I do not know why. I never gave the people at the electric company that address. Why the freak would I?
Yeah, you don't live there.
But for some reason, that's where they've been sending my bills for the last 4 months.
Wow.
That's ludicrous.
It's absolutely ludicrous. What's really ludicrous to me is that, this came to my attention back at like the beginning of May, I think, was when I realized that, I have never gotten an electric bill. So I just assumed, okay, well, maybe they just bill every 3 months or something. I'm just going to let it ride and see what happens. The chances of being cut off are relatively minor, so I'm just going to go with it and see what happens. But I finally called them because we hit the 4-month mark, and I was like, something's wrong. I don't want to come home from work or something and just find the lights off.
Dark.
Yeah. So I'm going to give these people a call. And from 4 months, and a lot of this is through the winter, right, where it was neither cost-effective to keep putting oil into the oil heater, nor cost-effective to run electrical heat. So I did sort of a combination of the two, especially at night when there was no reason to keep the downstairs at, 70 degrees or whatever.
Right.
Well, I kept it pretty low anyway, but in theory, there was no reason to keep the downstairs at that temperature while everyone was upstairs and I was sleeping. So I would just, put the upstairs on a temperature and use a space heater at one of the oil radiator space heaters to warm up the bedroom.
Yep.
And despite doing that, the 4 months of electricity still came to barely $400. So it's basically like $100 a month in electricity, which isn't surprising. I don't have kids. I'm not running a bunch of washing machines every day and all that kind of stuff. I think perpetually there's a fridge and maybe like 3 lights and my computer that are just on 24/7. But that is not much power drain.
One of the great things about incandescent lights is people say they're inefficient, and in the summer they are. But in the winter, like 90% of the energy you put into an incandescent bulb comes off it as heat. So it warms the room while you have the light on, which is an indication that you're in there and awake and want to be warm.
I very rarely actually have a light on. because natural light is better. And if I do need a light, I'm more than likely, like when I get home from work at 3 o'clock in the morning, my TV provides all the light that I need for the most part, unless I'm going to eat or something like that. And then even then, I'm probably not going to just sit there in my bedroom eating. But if I do, I will cut on a light or something. But generally speaking, the only time I cut on lights is when I'm downstairs in the bathroom doing my makeup. Because that's the only time it's really necessary.
And then you call Lucifer.
No, I call Lucifer in the dark.
Oh, okay.
Not with lights on. No.
Well, I guess he brings his own, doesn't he?
Yeah. I would recommend people, to mine Ravencoin. If you have even a somewhat decent graphics processor, I would recommend doing it because there's really not a reason not to. From doing that mining, I think at this point it's probably made me about $30. I would say it was probably cost effective versus the amount of energy that it used. But of course, I don't have any intention of selling the Ravencoin at this point. I'm just going to hold on to it possibly forever.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, if it shoots up to $1 per, maybe I'll think about selling it. Maybe it'll shoot up to $100 per, though. So just hold on to it and see what happens. Again, there's no reason not to.
I mean, generally, my strategy, I used to trade stocks for Citibank and or write software that did. And, I would generally take a strategy like if you go 10x, take half of the value out and leave the other half. And if you go 10x again, take half of that out. And so you always have a bigger investment than you have had before, but you've also pulled more than your original investment out, sometimes repeatedly.
Good point. Something else that people should investigate is LBRY. That's LBRY. You can get free library credits just for watching videos and stuff. Legitimately free. Doesn't cost you anything to do. And I think they're currently worth like 20 cents each right now. Something along those lines. This is the Call to Freedom. Don't go anywhere. More crypto talk in just a moment.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true. And thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISSparis.com.
Anyone can publish on the internet, but not everyone is publishing material suited for online reading. According to the Yahoo Style Guide, it cautions that internet content has a few seconds, 3 or less, to encourage people to read more, to take action, or navigate to another one of your pages. So make it easy for readers to pick and choose. Isn't that the way you poke around online? Use short words, short sentences, short paragraphs, bulleted lists, and short pages. Front load what you write, putting the most important information at the beginning of headlines and paragraphs and sentences. Same goes for your keywords, what someone would likely type into the search box on Yahoo or Google. For more tips on communicating better online or in a job interview or everyday life, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Free speech is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, the Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999, and ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom, and as always, you're invited to give us a call. That number is 603-283-6160, or you can use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm. Now, while looking for a new background for my phone, I always use the anarchy symbol. The one I have has these weird borders at the top and the bottom that are that I can't eliminate, so I'm just trying to find a different one. For some reason, I ended up at a Reason article about Canadian city leaders having declared the anarchy symbol to be hate speech.
Oh, yeah, I remember something about this.
I hate the Canadian city leaders.
Well, I have never heard about this before, but the city of Hamilton in Ontario seems to have a problem with a small group of black-clad anarchist radicals vandalizing storefronts and cars in their community. These people are not anarchists.
They're chaosists.
They're idiots.
Well, the thing is, I wouldn't necessarily say they're not anarchists, because anybody who says there should be no government is an anarchist. That's
no
rulers. They definitely do subscribe to that.
They can't simply say it, you know.
Well, they interpret what it means differently than we do.
But they are taking actions that literally conflict with that. They are attempting to use force and violence in order to make other people comply with their worldview.
Yeah, they want to be the state.
But there are schools of anarchist thought that don't eschew force or violence. We're not
That's
of
why
those
they're not
schools.
anarchists.
We're anarcho-capitalists. But we don't get to... I don't think it's fair for anarcho-capitalists to pretend that we're the only anarchists, because there have been many anarchist traditions, from Robert Heinlein's rational anarchist, who basically said he looked at the world as if he was living under anarchy and governments were just one more criminal gang. And so he reserved right to use violence against any criminal gang. Certainly you can, but he wouldn't necessarily organize that. If a government wasn't getting in his way, he might not trouble himself to overthrow it. Now, that's different from an anarcho-capitalist, which takes the nap as the highest form of anarchy, and I happen to be of that school.
It's important to note here that it's not government that anarchists actually are against. It's the state. There can exist forms of government.
Self-government is essential to anarchy.
I mean, whether self-government or some other type of government, what differentiates the state as a form of government is its monopoly on the use of force and violence in a given geographic area. The governments that don't utilize force and aggression tend to be voluntary. Like the company that I work for, by all definitions, is a government of me. It does not use force or violence against me, but it does dictate my behavior. I can't, get hooked on meth or heroin and continue my circumstances there.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't call that being a government, though. You're in a contractual relationship with you sell labor to them. They're your customer.
Okay.
That I would not call that a governing relationship.
It's a government to which I have consented.
Well, if you consider the contract itself to be a form of government, yes, I guess.
Well, of course it would be. I mean, it literally governs my behavior.
Yeah. Well,
this is why it's critical to note the difference between a state and a government. Like a state is just a type of government in the same way that a car is just a type of vehicle. It doesn't mean that every vehicle is a car or that every government is a state. There are plenty of types of governments that are not that do not use force and violence. IEEE is yet another. It's a governing body over technology, and it doesn't use force and violence.
I don't know that's necessarily the case, and I don't know that it's not. I haven't looked into them
states
very
tend
much.
to
I know that ICANN has definitely been used for political goal. That's the Internet Names Authority.
Yeah, but it's very different. Like a lot of the IEEE standards as well, they do get adopted as mandatory by various governments around the world, but it's not IEEE causing that. It's the state taking their recommendations and causing that on their behalf. IEEE, they just recommend things.
Well, the AMA just recommends things, but yet when they recommend that people not members of their union be forbidden to practice medicine, they are
that's a
they're
syndicate.
Asking for force, and they're getting it. It is a syndicate.
IEEE is not a syndicate.
IEEE in some ways aren't they similar? Are they a licensing body of engineers?
I don't believe they
license. I used to be a member, and I don't even really know what they do.
I don't believe they license anyone. I think they just set specific protocols and standards, and people voluntarily abide them because it's most widely used. I mean, when we think about the enormity of what we've accomplished in the last 15 years, it's absolutely staggering. You can take any freaking phone, any freaking device, and connect it to any freaking brand of wireless router, which is going to connect to any freaking brand of modem, which is going to connect you anywhere in the world to any of these random freaking devices, some of which you may not even be able to pronounce, and communicate with them. The enormity of that task, when you really stop to think about it, is staggering. That's not something a state could ever have done.
No.
Probably not, yeah.
It only happened because the state didn't get in the way.
Yeah, purely by recommendations and voluntary cooperation that these standards seem to work. This is why we're going to use them. And then, iPhone joined in, or Apple joined in, and all of these others joined in, and it became just a working model for how Wi-Fi should work. That's a beautiful and powerful thing. But yeah, they are a governing body of technology that one submits to voluntarily, in the same way that my employer is a governing body of me that I have submitted to voluntarily. But they're not a state.
Okay.
They wouldn't use force and violence against me in order to make me come to work.
See, I define things slightly differently. I define
a government as that which governs.
Okay. Fair enough. I probably use a more specialized, more of a political science kind of definition. That to me, a government is a subset of corporations. A government is a corporation with a license to kill.
That's a state.
Okay, you could change that to state, I guess. The problem about arguing about definitions is they're not really arguable.
But we need to be on the same page when we talk about these things.
Yeah, it's true. So it's
because I'm the one saying that anarcho-communists and these people committing violence are not anarchists because they do, in fact, endorse a state.
Right, and I would say that there's more than one definition to the word anarchist, and by a lot of definitions, they certainly are anarchists,
I
including
fully
the
admit
simplest
that.
one.
But by not my definition.
But, so really what you're saying is you don't choose a definition of anarchist that includes this group of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And that's fair enough.
Yeah, because, I mean, they use violence. I consider myself to be an anarchist. They use violence and destructive tactics in order to achieve their goals. I want to disassociate from that as much as possible.
When I use a word, it means exactly what I want it to mean, no more and no less. The question is, who is master? Lewis Carroll.
This is the Call to Freedom. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more of this discussion about the anarchy symbol and whether or not it's hate speech.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Free Talk Live.
I had a turning point in my life that happened right here on the air on Free Talk Live. A veteran, a guy who had served like 20 years in the military in both the Navy and the Army, called in and he asked me to rebut the statement. The military are a bunch of paid killers working for liars and thieves in Washington, D.C. Now, when you're stuck here on the air, you're on live radio. There's nowhere to go. You can't excuse yourself to go to the bathroom. You can't change the subject. You're a talk show host who has built their reputation on honesty and logic. What are you going to do when somebody says that to you? Well, when you don't have an answer to something, you're going to have to look really hard at the other side's opinion. And that's what I was left doing.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. And you know, we libertarians and anarchists, we talk a lot about how we might pay for things without the government and how we might provide for people who need assistance without the state. Well, I found a wonderful opportunity for people to do exactly that. Coming out of Sierra Leone is the Kids Compassion Charity, currently helping Lydia Ture, a woman blinded in an oil accident, and currently helping a number of villages and school children get materials and water and other stuff that they need to, not die. These are real people on the ground really needing help. And the Kids Compassion Charity happens to accept cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Litecoin, and several others, as well as PayPal and other forms of donations. You can find them at kidscompassioncharity.com, and we urge you to do so. We actually had Monday, we had Mustafa Cole, who is the CEO and founder of the charity, on the show. So go back and listen to the Twitch archive or the YouTube archive, youtube.com/AriaDiMezzo, of that episode if you would like to find it, because the podcast version of it does not exist. Sorry, Mustafa. Actually, I guess technically his hour probably would have been in the podcast if I had bothered to do it, but I didn't bother to do it.
Oops.
Not really. I mean, I intentionally didn't do it, so not really oops. But so in addition to condemning the violence and trying to track down the direct perpetrators, efforts to fight further violence have taken a weird and troubling turn. The city has ordered a local anarchist group to take down the familiar anarchy symbol off its headquarters, designating it as hate material.
Wow.
I mean, they're not wrong. I hate the state. If the state is a group that can have, hate speech used against it, then sure, I use hate speech against the state.
And I have a right to hate the state, and I have a right to say that I hate the state.
Everyone
and
should.
I too hate the state, and if that be hate speech, make the most of it.
So the Tower, a meeting space for anarchists in Hamilton, displayed the anarchist symbol, a capital A in a circle. That's not correct. It's a capital A inside of an O, alongside a paraphrase of a quote from Spanish anarchist, oh, good Lord. I don't know what that name is. Buenaventura Durruti. We are not in the least afraid of ruins, for we carry a new world here in our hearts, on several pieces of plywood covering smashed windows on the building's facade. So
Buenaventura, I think, would be like good venture or good enterprise.
Yeah, something like that. Well, I mean, that was his name, so... Cool
name.
evidently, the building was kind of falling apart, and it just sort of got taken over by anarchists. Sounds like it was an abandoned building with smashed windows and plywood covering them.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just had some teenagers skating by, probably stopped to spray paint an anarchy symbol on the side, and then others came by with like, hey, dude, I love Rage Against the Machine, too. We should totally hang out
move in,
here.
Yeah. See, that's the sort of thing that mutualists would advocate, that if a building is abandoned... that's
not just mutualists.
No, there's a lot of forms of anarchists that believe that.
I would agree with that. That if property is abandoned, then it's up for grabs.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And so really, I don't know if I'm even a real ANCAP, because the mutualists say that you should have property during use.
Right.
Okay, and the anarcho-capitalists say that title should be eternal. Now, what I say is that
I don't know if they say it should be eternal.
Well, that's what Ayn Rand, for example, would say, because I know specifically
I'm not
that
a fan
she did
of Rand.
say that. I'm not always a fan of Rand either. I think it's also what Murray Rothbard said. And I
Also
am
not
in
a fan of
general a
Rothbard.
fan of Murray Rothbard, but I disagree with some of the things that he said. And, all of the prophets of the Church of the Invisible Hand are estimated prophets. What I would say is that property should be during defense. So if you're going to leave your building just sitting there for 10 years, but you intend to come back and use it, then the onus is on you to have a guy with a shotgun going out there every once in a while to keep squatters off.
Well, see, in that case, it's not abandoned.
Yeah, that wouldn't be
that's
still
the
being
thing.
tended to.
And therefore... so that's kind of the definition. You have to keep somebody coming out there to defend to run people off.
That's the definition that mutualists would use as well, and it's what leads to the world of stewards and feudalism. They don't see it, but that absolutely is what it becomes. You end up with a few wealthy people hiring people to go out into these neighborhoods to find abandoned houses. Oh no, my wife and I both went to work at the same time. Now our property is abandoned. So you get some strong, tough guy to go in there and
if that's
just
your
literally
definition of adverse possession, that adverse possession can occur in an hour while you're at work, then you've really set up your
well, this is exactly my point, is that you won't get.
The thing is, you can't take a broad idea, give it. Okay,
exactly.
Go ahead.
You cannot get an anarcho-communist to give you their exact time frame of what constitutes abandoned property versus not currently being used property.
Okay, if
they
there's any
will not
anarcho-capitalist or a communist who wants to refute that statement, it's not hard. Just give us a time frame. But
I've talked to the people who formed the Libertarian Socialist Caucus, and repeatedly they have declined to provide any specific number of what constitutes abandonment of property.
Well, then how would you know it's abandoned?
There's nobody in it.
No. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they literally leave themselves up to have just some tough guy hired to go out and find their property and just go inside it once he finds out that they're all gone, and then just hired some steward to live there perpetually and charge people rent to stay there because it's their property now. They're the owners of it.
Obviously, that's not going to work.
They are creating feudalism with their own ideology.
A construct is not rendered false by bad defense, though. So saying that you've never found somebody who could deliver a policy suggestion to you, maybe that just means you haven't looked hard enough. Maybe somebody out there has that policy.
I have spoken directly on this matter. I've debated the matter with the people who founded the Libertarian Socialist Caucus. If they can't do it, if these anarcho-communists,
who is that? What's his name? The stripper guy?
Stripper guy.
Who is that guy out in Michigan? I finally blocked him.
No.
James Weeks.
No, he's an egoist. He's not a communist or a libertarian socialist.
He's a troll.
He's an egoist.
He's an egomaniac.
But no, I'm talking about Matt Kuehnel, specifically, Mike Shipley, and a number of others. I presented the question on Quora to the same, not the same people, but these people who subscribe to the same ideology, and I have yet to encounter a single one who was willing to say, well, if a property has not been used by the previous maintainer of that property for this amount of time, then it's abandoned.
Well, if you know an anarcho-communist out there, and you're out there in Radio Land, and you know an anarcho-communist, tell them that I would love to interview somebody who's serious about anarcho-communism. I'd like to hear about how you think it would work.
Oh, well, we've had them on the show.
That
I'm sure those archives still exist.
So I'd like to.
We had Mike Shipley come on at one point. The guy who calls me the self-hating trans Nazi or whatever he said.
It doesn't sound like you. Is that really the best that anarcho-communism has to send?
Pretty much, yeah.
If that's his idea of rhetoric, I'm sure you can find.
Well, he didn't say that during that particular discussion.
Well,
he said that when I told him that he was white knighting on behalf of trans people against Arvin Vohra, who happened to be someone who I supported and did not find to be transphobic. He was like, that's because you've internalized your transphobia.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's fun.
Well, I mean, what do you expect from the left? I mean, whether they're anarcho-communist, libertarian socialist, or
from the
just
left, I expect absurdity.
Or democratic socialist. Yeah, that's what you're going to get.
I don't expect good things from any group of people about whom I would say, what do you expect from that group? Whether it's a racial group or a religious group or a political group.
Well, a group
Once
of voluntary
you've gotten to
membership.
that point, you're not looking to give them the benefit of the doubt.
A group that is defined voluntarily by people who subscribe to a specific ideology, I will certainly make broad statements about, because that ideology causes them to exhibit certain characteristics.
We'll see.
Just like what you can say about
people move around.
I mean, they do, but at that point they would stop being libertarian socialists, so it would no longer really be part of the group. They would no longer be part of the group that I'm characterizing. This is a call to freedom. Don't go anywhere. There's a little bit more about this.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually.
Whoa, whoa.
Hey.
Who do you think you are?
Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me?
Because you're scared me.
What am I being detained for? You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin, but imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom. And maybe you've been regularly listening to the show and have been wondering how you can help and show your support. Well, social media shares certainly go a long way, but so does cash. And you can do that at Patreon by using patreon.com/call-to-freedom. Our sponsors there, who we mentioned earlier in the show, well, some of them earlier in the show, are currently helping to keep the show up and running, including the podcast at calltofreedomlive.podbean.com. And we can't thank them enough for that. Once more, that's patreon.com/call-to-freedom if you would like to check it out. And we're trying to get it sorted right now. As soon as I have them, I'm going to throw the cryptocurrency QR codes up there, but we're running into some difficulties with that. Just crypto nonsense, you wouldn't expect it to be this freaking difficult to just set up a multi-sig wallet.
It is. It actually is a total, complete pain in the ass.
But I mean, it really shouldn't be. At this point, it would be easier to get like some kind of throwaway $40 laptop and set it up with a password that the three of us, I type the first 10 characters, you type your next 10 characters, somebody else types the next 10, and that's the password to get into the laptop.
Well, what I would say is that multi-sig wallets, they increase your chances of losing your funds through one of the several of you losing your credentials. Okay, so that, I think, increases your risk. So the only time I would use a multi-sig wallet is if I was entering into an agreement with people that I didn't trust, which I wouldn't do.
Well, see, it's not necessarily that. I'm sure that everybody involved in the show would expect me to have a dedicated wallet and not to just, I need a pack of cigarettes today, so I'm going to spend the show's money.
Well,
I don't think trust is really the issue.
For that is throw one more wallet app on your phone and give the private keys to the people who are authorized to drive up. To draw from it.
Right.
That's what I would do.
And I would trust people with that, similarly that they would trust me. The issue is that there's absolutely no reason that trust should be entered into the equation in the first place. We can remove trust entirely by just having a multi-sig wallet.
With the trust, I think you'll remove efficiency. And I think that's what you're running into.
I don't care about removing efficiency. I mean, how often are we going to be sending cryptocurrency out of this wallet? Once a month at most?
True. Oh, if that's all you're doing for it, then maybe for that application it's worth doing. But I don't know if a wallet's that lightly used. I don't think anybody's going to jack show funds. I just given to people I know are involved, I wouldn't worry about it.
It's not a matter of being worried about it.
Yeah,
it's a matter of just basic common sense. There's no need to bring trust into the equation when it can be mitigated entirely. There's no reason for Michael to have to trust me or Chris or you to have to trust me when we can create a tool that removes trust from the equation entirely, because I might not be here forever. You two might not be here forever. Call to Freedom was started by Dobby Barker and Will Coley. Neither of them are here today.
Yeah.
Who's going to be here 2 years from now?
If they were holders of the keys or holders of partial keys and lost interest? Maybe you can't get them on the phone.
It wouldn't require all signatures. That would be the first thing. It would be an X of N key.
Okay, so how does that type work? Because this might be a different kind of multi-sig technology than I'm familiar with.
I don't know. Duke Leto, who is in the New Hampshire Decentralized Telegram chat, was talking with us earlier about it.
Okay.
But basically, you can have them set up where 2 out of 3 of the signatures are required, or 3 out of 5.
Right.
Or 4 out of 7, or whatever. I think in our case, it would probably be 4 out of 7. But in that case, as long as you have 4 people there, you by definition, you have a majority of the show being on board with whatever it is they're doing. Even if their plan is to, we're just going to take this money for ourselves. We feel like we earned it. Well, they're the majority of the show. By definition, they could make that call if they so chose. I wouldn't endorse it, but there you go, right? That would just mean I surrounded myself with untrustworthy people. But I mean,
I guess I can boil that down one step further and say if you really need a multi-sig wallet, you're dealing with untrustworthy people, or there are valid technical reasons for trust-free solutions. Like Bitcoin is a valid reason to have a trust-free solution, but if you don't trust the people who are physically walking into your office and working with your equipment and watching you do drugs,
but why should I trust them? Is the question. It's not about it comes back to the question.
Because they're the people you chose to do business with. If you don't trust them,
we can remove trust from the equation.
No, we can't.
Yes, we can by having this multi-sig wallet.
And then there's still 1,000 reasons why I have to trust you to do business with you. Because there's 1,000 other ways that you can rip me off. It depends on
the extent of that business, but the extent of that business would ultimately be the usage of the cryptocurrency.
I don't know. That would secure a very small part. I don't know. I don't see it as being worth the cost, but hey, do it your way. But I'll tell.
Well, I mean, there's effectively no cost. I mean, it's not like we're going to pay somebody.
How much time have you put into this?
6 minutes, maybe.
Okay.
That's not much of a cost.
Okay,
but
then I'm not sure why you were complaining so much at the beginning, but that's okay. Sometimes milady doth protest too much.
I was not complaining. I was remarking on the fact that, Duke Leto and all these other people say that it's extremely difficult. I mean, he writes cryptocurrencies, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
And if he's going, multi-sig wallets are too difficult, then I'm like, no thanks, Sim.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and I guess my prediction is that it would be too difficult.
But see, my experience is more as the end user in regard to cryptocurrency. Like when I installed the Black Halo wallet for Blackcoin, it required me to create 2 passwords. They could be the same password, but the wallet will not unlock without both of those passwords. So if there were 2 people involved in the show, I could create password 1, they could create password 2, and bam, it may not technically be a multi-sig wallet, but you have the cryptocurrency there and is protected by the need of both parties, each one of which has one of the 2 passwords, to consent to the transaction in order for it to take place.
Well, I hope one of you doesn't need the money to bail the other one out of jail.
Well, we wouldn't use show funds for that.
Well,
that's not what Call to Freedom is for.
No.
That's almost by definition embezzlement.
How is that embezzlement? How does the show go on if you don't have the hosts on the show?
Well, it would just have to go on.
Okay.
Somebody would do it.
Yeah, I mean, if
it's a campaign expense for Donald Trump to pay off a hooker not to talk, then I don't see why it isn't a show expense not to have their people in jail. I'll tell you what, if Howard Stern gets arrested, his studio is going to send him a lawyer. Okay, if any personality gets arrested, and one of the reasons for that is being arrested is a risk of being a personality. You assume some personal risk by being on the show.
Okay, so let's assume that's valid because you do have points, and I think in the end I would ultimately agree with them anyway, but let's just go ahead and have me agree with them. There's still no reason that Michael and Chris and you couldn't get together and agree to release those funds in order to bail me out of jail.
Well, unless one of us was trying to bail 2 of us out of jail.
In which case you would have to get Will to also sign off on it.
So
and
if
Tom
we all
to sign
trust
off
each
on
other,
it.
it's safer just to all know the password.
I'm not sure. I don't know why trust got brought into the equation again.
Because it's always been there. You can't escape it. There must be trust between people. There are times when you can have decentralized ledgers.
I mean, you can't simply assert
bank,
that. In what way would this circumstance require any one of us to trust the other person with the money?
Well, you trust each other not to just disappear, or at least too many of you not to disappear with the key and lose interest and say, screw you guys.
If somebody disappears, bring on somebody else.
Okay, that's just another cost. I don't see what you're gaining by taking on the cost. If you're dealing with people you trust.
That's the issue, is that there is no cost.
Well, bringing on another person is a cost. You have to locate that person. You have to expend time to add them to the wallet. You have to remove the old person from the wallet.
And the old person has to cooperate in that process.
But if
the old person doesn't cooperate, then maybe you can't do that.
Okay, but your question applies to your hypothetical as well. If we all just have the private key, then the old person, the person who leaves the show, could just grab all that cryptocurrency and be out.
So we get the same results from both solutions, but mine is cheaper and easier.
Yours isn't cheaper and easier. The person in question cannot take that cryptocurrency by themselves. In my solution, they cannot do it. Sure, They could make it where none of us could, in theory. They could also make it where none of us take it either. But they're not enriching themselves as a result. So, so it would just disappear into the ether forever.
Yeah, see, trust is necessary when you do business with people. I'm sorry, you might be able to lock it out of a cryptocurrency for limited purposes, but if you're doing business with people you don't trust, you're going to have a bad time.
This has been Call to Freedom. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back Monday, of course, but don't go anywhere because Free Talk Live is coming up next, and I'm looking forward. Come down to Fork Fest next week and see me there.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New